What's up everyone, my name is Zach and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be roasting during this heat wave happening here in the United States and other parts of the world. Upstairs in my attic filming this video for you guys, so I apologize for being sweaty. Anyways, continuing on, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I am going to be reviewing a spoiler-free review of Josh Malerman's newest release, Incidents Around the House. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a ton. It helps me get books early like I did this one so that I can review them for you all. Liking the video also goes a long way. And then let me know in the comments, have you read Josh Malerman before? Do you want to read him? Are you interested in this book? Tell me all the things. Josh Malerman is the author of... My house is a mess right now because I'm also about to move. About to move in the next couple of months, so things are just everywhere. But Josh Malerman is the author of Bird Box, which I have not read and do really want to read, especially after reading Incidents Around the House. And this was made into a Netflix movie, and also I didn't know this, but this book has a sequel to it, so I need to get the sequel, but I want to read this book first. So most of you may have heard of Josh Malerman through Bird Box, because this, I remember when this became like a sensation. So it's the same author as that can sit right there. That's fine. Whatever. Okay, so let's jump right into my review. First of all, I need to say thank you so much to the publisher for giving me early access to this book. Penguin Random House gave me both the audio and the Kindle version on NetGalley access to. So first, let me tell you a little bit about the audio, and it's going to be very interesting because Incidents Around the House is told completely from the perspective of a 9-year-old child. And when I first started the audio, I was like, why is there a kid speaking in my ears? But then I remembered that this story is told from the perspective of a child, and the entire audio, except for a few parts, are told in a childlike voice, which for a horror novel can either be really creepy or really off-putting. And I would say the audio for this one was somewhere in the middle. If you really want to be immersed after everything that I'm going to tell you about the book, so wait until the end, but if you really want to be immersed in the story, I would say the audio is probably the way to go, because it's going to really hit home that this story is being told from the child's perspective. If not, I would recommend that you read it physical or Kindle. Usually I have a definitive answer about if you should do the audio or not. This one really comes down to the answer to that question. Do you want to be really immersed in the childlike experience, or do you want to just kind of read it and have your own voices in your head? Because I can tell you, for a book like this, it's either going to make it or break it. So let's get right into my review. So coming out, I will say I gave this book 4.75 stars, which might sound annoyingly specific, but I have a lot of reasons for that. So first, very basic premise of this book. You don't need to know any more or any less going into this story. That's the other thing. The Goodreads synopsis is really good if you just want to read the Goodreads synopsis. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to read you guys that, because one bonus of this book is that it is exactly what it says it's going to be. It's rare that a book's synopsis doesn't give away too much, and the book is actually about everything that the synopsis says it's going to be about. So let's read that really quick, because it's actually pretty short. A chilling horror novel about a haunting told from the perspective of a young girl whose troubled family is targeted by an entity she calls Other Mommy. From the New York Times bestselling author of Bird Box. Blah, blah, blah. To 8-year-old Bella, her family is the world. There's Mommy, Daddy-O, and Grandma Ruth. But there is also Other Mommy, a malevolent... Okay, I know this word in my brain. If you're not new here, you're used to this. If you're new here, you might be like, is this guy okay? Yes, I'm fine. Sometimes I see words and have a hard time saying them. Malevolent, whatever, entity who asks her every day, can I go inside your heart? When horrifying incidents around the house signal that Other Mommy is growing tired of asking Bella the same question over and over, Bella understands that unless she says yes, soon her family must pay. Other Mommy is getting restless, stronger, bolder. Only the bonds of the family can keep Bella safe, but other incidents show cracks in her parents' marriage. The safety Bella relies on is on the brink of unraveling, but Other Mommy needs an answer. Incidents Around the House is a chilling, wholly unique tale of true horror told by the child Bella, a story about a family as haunted as their own home. I would say that is no more, no less than you need to know going into the story. The other thing that I want to say is this book is not thrilling. Do not go into this book looking for twists and turns and to be thrilled. You are going to feel the heart of a family story when you read this book. That is the point of it. It is a slow burn. It is a very, very slow burn. So please do not go into this book thinking you're going to get a fast-paced horror. You are not. You're going to get a literary horror that can be really creepy at times. That is where the audio kind of comes in a little bit though. And some of the creep factors in this book are that there is this entity, and the way that it's described, that the entity like moves across the room and comes at the kid, and how the kid interacts with the entity and the things that the entity says. And in the narration, the voice, it is kind of creepy, I will say. It is kind of creepy. Now, if you're a true horror fan, well, not true horror fan, like who's a true fan of anything? That's subjective. But if you're used to like reading really dark horrors, this is not going to creep you out at all. This is going to be like, it's very literary. Like this really is the story of a family that is falling apart at its seams, and a child who's really struggling to understand what's going on with her parents. You have two parents who are going through a lot of their own personal things. And something that I really did love about this book is that the mom in this story is kind of like the villain. She's the one who's kind of like messing up or whatever in ways that we typically attribute to the men. And I thought that was very interesting because it's not just the men who make the mistakes that this mom is making. It's genderless. Like these are mistakes that we as humans make, but often in novels and media and stories, it's men who are making these mistakes. So I felt like that representation was really cool. Let me look at my notes here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. It's got aspects of a ghost story, aspects of a possession story. There's a lot of talk about the occult. And at one point, like they think that they might need to do an exorcism. And so there's talk about how are they going to get an exorcism? Who's going to help them? There's a lot of practical ways around how they're trying to solve this problem with this family. One of my favorite things about this book was that it is wise. There were so many quotes that I wrote down that I can't read to you guys because it hasn't been published yet. So unfortunately, when you review books early, you're not supposed to quote them until it's in final publication, because there could be quotes that aren't in the book anymore and they don't want you to do that and blah, blah, blah. I'll come back to you guys and tell you guys some of the quotes, because this book is wise. Like this is something that I would want to read again. And for anyone who has a family that is even a little bit messed up, so that's all of you, every single one of you watching could find pieces of this that you will feel seen in. Sure, you might not have the exact experience that this child is going through, but there are pieces of feeling what this child feels that you will feel seen in when you read this book. One thing too about this book is it's about how our parents can take away from and contribute to the loss of our innocence. That right there is the core and the heart of the story. Let me say that again. It's a story about how our parents can contribute to and take away the loss of our innocence, and what that means for us growing up, and what that means for our parents helping us come out and into the world, and how their own things really can impact us forever. And they're also human, right? So we put so much pressure on our parents to perform and do everything perfect and by the book. And we talk about how parents mess up their kids and blah, blah, blah. They're human too. You know, of course they take on a great responsibility to do the best that they can. But this really is a story about how our parents are human and how life's hard, okay? And we make a lot of mistakes. I wrote that it gets more creepy toward the end. It's a very real story with a lot of wise quotes, a lot of wisdom about growing up, about innocence. And also it kind of has an open-ended ending. I would say for those of you that are like, I do not like open-ended endings, I will not read a book that has an open-ended ending. It's not so open-ended, but it does leave some questions where you're like, I don't quite know what this means. So I would say either read it with someone else or get with someone who's already read it. I'm happy to talk with you on Discord. It's linked down below in a private message so we don't spoil anyone, but I'm happy to chat about it because you do know how it ends, but also you're going to have a lot of questions about how it ended. And I think that people will have different ideas about that, which I really love. Again, it's not so open-ended that you don't quite understand, but it's pretty open-ended, like in that there's a lot of different ways that you can answer the questions that are being asked. Okay, any other things? Oh, so 4.75 instead of 5, because even though it was told from the child's perspective, I think it would have been a lot better if the child's perspective was used a little bit less. Like, even if it was like 70% child's perspective, 30% adult, there were times where I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand this. It's being told well. And I want to hear from the adults and what's going on. And you do a little bit. I just think that it could have been done a little bit more. So yeah, I really loved this. Again, I look forward to reading more by the author, especially Bird Box. So yeah, I've been wanting to read Bird Box forever. And this will just be the catalyst that helps me do that. And now I actually look like I've been in a freaking sauna. Oh my God. I hope you guys appreciate this review because I'm literally sweating in like 95-degree weather in my attic to get this out to you. So yeah. All right. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you haven't already, yeah, subscribe to my channel. Helps me get more videos out to you guys and more early releases of books. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Stay cool if you're in a really hot environment. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments if you're going to read the video. And boom, we read another book. All right. Bye.